We'll come back to intimate connection. That brings us now to the story we hold, because we have this premise regarding romance, regarding intimacy, regarding love. And that's basically the story that we hold is the one we keep telling ourselves. And that is basically what affects our state of being and reflects our happiness, sadness, wants and needs. So let's look deep into the story that we hold. A story is basically just a thought on repeat. A thought that you continually repeat, that becomes habitual, becomes surety, it becomes certainty, and you then adopt it as a belief that this is the truth. Where so often stuff that we've learned is just stuff that we've learned. There's always deeper truths to be seen beyond it. So it's important to remember that thoughts on repeat become our belief systems, which turn into our story, which affects our state and our behaviors, our reactions, and ultimately our relationships. So it's a huge tool to now know that if we can heal perceptions, if we can change our thoughts, and if we can change those thoughts rationally in a way that we believe them, then that will then bring us to a new story and a new state, different reactions, becoming more proactive, and then adjusting our relationships and our story regarding intimacy, regarding romance, and regarding love. And we can really empower ourselves knowing this tool. So in the past, we've been unconsciously reactive. We're not even really sure why we're doing it. It's just a lot of conditioning that we've led to believe, because we've had these thoughts that keep on recurring. And so we are unconsciously reactive regarding our relationships. Now it's time to expand our awareness, to know that there's a bigger picture, there's more truths, and now we become consciously proactive. Now the conscious part is now we're aware, and the proactive is now we're not becoming reactive to old stories, thoughts, and patterns. We're now becoming proactive by adopting new stories, thoughts, behaviors, patterns, behaviors, ideas, and consciousness. And moving away from like the blame game towards the aim game. And we are steering our own ship, so to speak. Cool. An example of the story we hold as a typical one is love hurts. This is a great quote, a great example. Songs have been written about it, and we kind of believe that it is love just hurts, you know. It's almost something we could do without. And we believe that love hurts because we make ourselves vulnerable, and then the person that we're in the relationship with doesn't live up to our expectations. They then disappoint us the whole time, and we are just left with a whole lot of heartache, pain, and resentment. Now, in order to move past that story, to change it and to give an example of being consciously proactive, we then look at it from a different angle. That is not love that hurts. It's not love that causes pain. It's actually the lack of love that causes pain. It's actually being out of alignment with love that causes pain. Because love is something that we're all born with. It's something that's innate with us. It's intrinsic. It's not something that you have to earn. It's something that we are part of. And the times that we are out of sync with it and we're not aligned and in tune with it, that's when we feel the discomfort. Tony Robbins referred to depression as basically just the selfish focus on oneself. It's the continual focus of oneself, which perpetuates depression. It's basically the focus on oneself and in the ways that we were not fulfilled by others. It's the constant focus on our expectations that weren't lived up to, that weren't met, that leads to depression. And he spoke about in a coffee experiment where people were given money and to take somebody out for coffee. And part of the experiment was the one person would only spend the money on themselves and the other person would have to expect to sort themselves out. The other one was they would pay for both, and the other one was just take some random stranger and treat them to coffee and just give them the experience and take nothing in return. And then when they studied the results, they found that the happiness and the fulfillment and the satisfaction of those that just spoiled the other person unselfishly was for much longer time period. There was a lot more longevity of annihilation than for those that just spent the money on themselves. So you see a pattern happening here. It's not just about your partner giving to you all of the time in order to make you happy, whereas a lot of your happiness is giving something away to them. That's not forgetting, though, that you need to give unto yourself as well. You need to fill up your cup till it overflows. Your partner's responsibility is filling up their cup till it overflows. And once you've got two full cups, you can spill the overflow onto each other, and you'll never ever run dry. So let's also change our perception of what is true love, because our perception of true love has been distorted through mass media, through movies, stories, books, and everything that we read. So what is true love? True love to me is not being true to your love. It's about being true to love, to the higher form of it, to the divine nature of it. Because when we're not true to that true love, to that nature, that's when we experience the pain. So we need to look deeply within this construct of love or true intimacy or true romance, and actually see a much bigger part of it that's going down. So this is really exciting. We're discovering so much more deeper truths about love, intimacy, relationships, and romance. We're discovering a lot more of ourselves, because that's where big truths come to the surface. And we're going to be discovering so much more on our partners. So it's time for you to do a little bit of introspection. Observe what was your past story regarding love, intimacy, romance, and relationships. And what shifts have you made? What is your now more enlightened and empowered story regarding intimacy, regarding love, regarding relationships? And you'll notice there's a PDF attachment that comes with this video that asks you those very questions. So please take the time to answer them and fill them in. Great. Now I'll then see you in the next video, where I'll be sharing a lot of tools and something I call CPAI, which is conscious, proactive, aligned intimacy. And I'll be sharing a lot of tools that's going to empower your relationships, that is going to make them so much better, so much more intimate, with a lot more trust and a lot more truth. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Go answer those questions, do your bit of introspection, and I'll see you on the other side.
The Big Cigar.